Hi everyone, a very good morning to everyone present here. First of all, we would like to thank you all for being here, making time on a Sunday morning for our webinar. And I'm Megha Bansali and I am a ACCA tutor. I am a qualified chartered accountant and a qualified ACCA. So I've been teaching for last 4 to 5 years now, and I get a lot of requests from students in terms of what they should be doing after they have qualified and they kind of feel lost. So that's why we are having these series of sessions which can help students to figure out what is the next step after they have completed their qualification, being CA, ACCA, CMA. So we have people from all those fields that come up and are having a lot of questions. So that's why we have this session. So our speaker for today is very special, Sandeep Kukreja. So he is an audit partner at Deloitte. He has post a qualification experience of 17 years in audit, and he's been actively involved in recruiting people, especially taking the technical round where people really struggle. So we thought that we should have someone with that kind of experience to give you all a lot of insights on how you could crack a Big 4 interview. So Sandeep, can you just give a brief introduction about yourself so that we can get started?
Thank you so much, Megha, for the introduction. Congratulations to each one of you for clearing CA and ACCA exams. It's a very important part of any professional journey. And I go back 17, 18 years when I cleared my CA final exams. So that feeling is actually very surreal. And that kind of a feeling, you don't really get it again in your life when you do other bigger achievements, because you always feel that is one of your biggest highlights of your professional career. And from a perspective of knowing Megha, she was actually an article who worked with me extensively at KPMG, and she also was quite good in managing her work as well as the studies, and she cleared her exams in the first attempt. So you have a perfect tutor to kind of guide you on how to crack the exams. And speaking about me, I have close to 20 years of experience working in a Big 4. About 17 odd years I worked at KPMG, and the last couple of years I have been working with Deloitte as an audit partner. So I have always been working as part of the audit division throughout, but I have been in a Big 4 for so many years, so I completely understand what are the various options which are available for students once they qualify. And as Megha mentioned, I am extensively involved in the recruitment process, not only at KPMG, but also now at Deloitte. In the first page itself, you have key attributes or skill sets are highlighted there, which can really help a recruiter catch their eye, and they'll probably look at the CV further and then do from an HR perspective. Yeah. So first important thing, make sure your CV is very crisp, it's very clear, and be true to yourself. Okay. Don't write things which actually you have not done in your career, or you've done very little, because in an interview, other than your professional qualifications, a lot of the technical questions which will come will be directly related to your CV. So say, for example, you write that you specialize in ESG standards or you specialize in IFRS. If the interviewer is going to ask you two questions on ESG or IFRS, and if you do not have a response to it, that is straight away a no-brainer. You're not going to proceed to the next round. Okay. So be true to yourself. In the CV, clearly highlight what are your skill sets, what additional certifications or qualifications you have other than the main professional qualification, because that's an added advantage if that clearly comes out in the CV. Yeah, and in terms of the interview process, see, different organizations have a different interview, but if you look at the general template, which will largely be applicable for all the Big 4s, the first round, anyways, once the talent team, talent acquisition team, or the HR team looks at your CV will be more in terms of an interaction with the candidate to just test their overall confidence level and their communication skills, right? If you can communicate well, you're confident, they will ask you a lot of generic questions on your CV and about your qualifications and about your personal life, etc. So just be confident in that first round because that will enable you to move to the next round, which is a technical interview. And even though you've been working or studying for many years, it's always good to be prepared for a technical round. Okay, it's not that you're expected to learn everything before the interview, but it's always good to brush up a little bit in terms of the key things which you have written in your CV. That's the preparation which I would advise any student. Whatever you've written in your CV, please try and see if you can brush up on some concepts before a technical interview because you actually sound more confident when you know you have read or prepared. Otherwise, what will happen, even if you have a professional qualification and you've studied, certain situations you may get a little nervous and you may not be able to recollect a lot of things. And then you would end up saying a wrong answer, you end up saying that, okay, I do not know the answer to this question. And if you do that more than twice, that again does not help in a technical interview because trust me, if there are 5 open positions, there will be 50 interviews which will be taken. And if any student is not confident or any person is not confident in the interview and says that, okay, he does not know the answer to this question, he cannot recollect, etc., that obviously gives a lot of negative points. And then it's difficult for you to move to the next round after that, which generally would be, say, with a director or a partner directly, which will be a combination of looking at your confidence level, how you will fit into the culture of that firm, plus a little bit of technical, right? So it's not always technical when you reach the final round, uh, but it will be a combination of a lot of things, which I would tell you in the interview. And when you are there confident, please look straight, eye to eye. Do not look left, right. Do not blink. When they are asking you a question, don't look at the ceiling when you're thinking and all. You have to be a little conscious where you just look straight, eye to eye at the interviewer, be confident. And if you need a little bit of time to answer a question, please request, just can you give me a few seconds if I can gather my thoughts and then answer the question. People really appreciate that.
Okay, so I think overall, be honest, be confident, and I think be yourself. So that's more
And be
important.
prepared for the interview. Prepare what you've written in your CV because that is important. You can't write something and not know anything about it at all. Yeah. So that I see a lot as a recruiter. I see people writing uh, things which sound very good, a lot of good English in the CV, because obviously they've taken it from some template and all of that. But you need to edit it and customize it to your own skill sets and qualifications rather than just keeping what is probably someone else's skill set or qualification.
Okay. Now I have one question which, I think is emphasized a lot, and you understand that when you enter a Big Four is the dress code. So how should someone be dressed for an interview?
See, dressed for an interview, if you're just normally dressed, okay, formally dressed, okay, even with a normal shirt, okay, in a video call, it's only the shirt which we look at, right? If you're just wearing a normal formal shirt or a semi-formal shirt is fine. You shouldn't really be dressed in some kind of a jazzy t-shirt and things like that. You don't need to wear a tie always. Let me be honest. You don't need to. If you're comfortable wearing a tie and you wear it normally, please wear it. As I said, if you don't wear ties for 365 days in a year and only for that interview you wear it, you may not really be comfortable in that attire. Okay. And that probably you will not realize, but the interviewer can see that you're probably a little uncomfortable because unconsciously you will try and adjust your tie and you will hold your neck, you will do a lot of things. So just keep it simple. Just a normal formal kind of a shirt or semi-formal shirt like what I'm wearing now is also totally fine. Okay. But of course, don't look tired and sleepy in the interview. So sleep well before your interview, because you generally would get 2 days of notice easily in most Big Fours, at least 1 or 2 days. So rest well and look fresh in the interview.
Okay, so before we take up question, I have one last question for you. What could be a salary expectation for a fresher from a Big Four perspective? Is it varying city-wise, or is it like a flat salary?
It would not vary significantly city-wise, but it would be anywhere between the range of 9 lakhs to 12, 13 lakhs. Okay. Again, it depends on the profile and the experience and how well you crack the interview, whether you have a rank, whether you're very confident in the interview, what position you are applying for. So anywhere between 9 lakhs to 13 lakhs, excluding bonus. And bonus generally typically would be, depending on your performance, anywhere between 10 to 25, 30% also. But at least 10% would be a given for a normal performance, even if it is not exceptional.
Okay, and just one more query. Does negotiation actually work as a fresher on salary?
If it is your first job, then I don't think negotiation would work, because that would be the band at which they would be taking everybody. But if you have some prior experience, okay, then maybe a little bit of a negotiation could work if you have a prior experience. If you're a total fresher without any prior experience, then it would be just what that organization pays to a fresher, right? Because you would get a slightly higher salary, or say a joining bonus, if you carry some experience which will be useful to the new organization, right? But if you're a fresher, then why would you really command an negotiation or an additional salary? Yeah.
Okay.
But if a
Fair.
fresher has worked in a Big Four earlier, then the salary levels could be a little different. If the fresher has got only experience in a smaller firm or in a smaller company and just uh, very limited experience, so that could really decide. So say, for example, if you're joining, say, Deloitte as a fresher, but you have done an articleship in another Big Four, okay, then the salary may not be 9, 10 lakhs. It could go 13, 14 lakhs as well, because what you carry with you is another Big Four experience for about 2, 3 years, right? So again, it depends on what you have done before applying for a role.
Okay, I think sounds fair enough. So now we would open up for questions. So the first question that we have is, what are the other certificates should we pursue besides our ACCA or the undergraduation degree?
See, it depends on what role you want to choose. Okay. When I say depends the role you want to choose, there are a lot of trainings, certifications which are available. If your role is more around taxation, if you do additional certifications on taxation, that will help. If your role is going to be around financial advisory, if you do certifications which are related to mergers and acquisitions, which are related to due diligence, other things would help. From an audit perspective, if you do some certifications on additional qualifications, saying do an IFRS course or something, that will be an added advantage, right? Similarly, if you do risk advisory, you do courses on risk assessment, on SOX testing, controls, all those things would help. So again, certifications, there would be many, but if you're applying for a particular role, or if you are interested in a particular role, make sure your certifications are related to that role and will add value to the role, right? Say, for example, you want to join audit, but if you want to do a certification on financial due diligence, even if you do that certification, it's not going to add value in an audit role so much, right? So certifications or any additional qualifications, if they are linked or related to what professional career you want to choose, it would then be helpful.
Okay, so I think a lot of Big Fours are also offering all of these certifications, right? Free certification courses available online, do they also hold equal value?
Yeah, see, any skill is good. So if you are done certifications which are free, but if they are going to help you in your role, that will only make you more confident in your interview. Say, for example, you have done some certifications, you clearly mention that in your CV, and you obviously have done a fair job in terms of concentration levels and the knowledge which you take from that certification. And if any question is asked on that, you will be confident enough to reply to the interviewer. So that is again an added advantage, right? So having additional qualifications will give you a plus because the interviewer may ask you some questions in relation to what you've written in your CV. And if you clearly highlight certain additional certifications which you have done, some questions may be around that. And if you're confident, then it gives you an edge over the other candidates who are there.
Okay. I think yes, makes sense that way. What are the basic skill set that a fresher candidate should have, or the skill set that a Big Four looks at as a fresher candidate?
See, concepts should be very clear. Okay, whenever you've studied anything, please have the concepts. It's not about in an interview, people expect you to know everything beforehand. But if you know the concept and if you can explain the concept, that is very helpful. Be clear, be confident, explain the concept well, and also have some kind of analytical skills, right? If I give you, say, a practical example during an interview, okay, it could be a very simple practical example, how you will react to a particular situation. Okay, I'll just give an example. Say someone is asking you in an interview that you are working with a client and they are not giving you enough information, but they are telling you, okay, you close it, I'll give it to you next time. How would you react in such a situation? Okay, now these are certain practical questions they want to test and see what kind of an answer a student gives in the interview, because you want someone who will do their best, will follow the rules of auditing, accounting, and do a good job. Because at the end of the day, the freshers are the ones who are working on the ground. If you notice something which is not correct, it is obviously your duty to go and tell your seniors. Without you telling them, they may never know about it, and then that could be a bigger issue. So be true, focus on quality, and remember one thing very clearly: any profession you work, forget audit, okay? Anything you do, please do what is right, okay? You don't have to do what will work in a particular situation. Please always do what is right. Sometimes that could be a difficult path. Doing what is right is not always easy, right? But doing what is right is probably the best quality any person can have when you're working in any organization. Forget only a Big Four.
I think yes, we have to be ethical. That has been a very big challenge for auditors, I think, nowadays. So that's also very important. Okay, so there's a question which says that if a fresher is confused about which role to apply for, what should they do?
See, two, three things you should do. Okay. You are confused, agree. But what you should do as a first step is read a little more about all the options which are available, list down what are your strengths and your weaknesses and where you may fit in well. And after that, at least if there are six options available, once you do that exercise with yourself, you'll probably come down to two or three options, right? And then it's always best to take someone's advice to say what would be better role based on their qualifications. It's always good to speak to people who have the experience, who have worked in larger organizations, who worked in different roles, and they would be in a position to then guide you on what probably are the pros and cons for each of the options which you are interested in, and what probably would work best for you. And that is also not foolproof, because at the end of the day, after working in some role, you may realize that, okay, maybe this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. So that also happens sometimes, right? Again, be true to yourself. If you are not enjoying after you made a career choice, it's best to switch very early, because the more you delay the process, the more time goes in your professional career to pick up something else which you're really interested in or made for.
So yes, Lyndon, I think really helps, but first you'll have to optimize your profile for that. Uh,
Yes.
that will help. And someone's asking, do references help in getting a job in Big Fours?
References will not help you getting a job, but references will at least help if your CV is getting lost in thousand CVs. It'll probably just come right in front for that interview. Like Megha, you mentioned at the beginning of the call that you have so many openings which are there on all these career portals of the Big Fours. People go and apply, but a lot of times people don't even get a call, right? So a reference will probably make sure the CV reaches the right person, and at least they will evaluate the CV. And if they are interested in that CV, at least they will get that first call. Okay, so getting that first call is also very important. And it's not like a reference will help you get a job in a Big Four, but at least getting a first HR round and then a technical round, I think that edge is always important. So I think the reference will help you with that.
Okay. So there's a question by someone who's saying that they want to enter the financial advisory or the consultancy division, but they have no openings for fresher in that division. So how can someone start their career with that, or how can they apply in financial advisory or consulting?
That is not factually correct. Uh, at least I can speak for Deloitte. I also take induction sessions once in 2 months for new joiners, and there'll be probably 100 people who join every other week. And out of the 100 people who join, more than 50% are from consulting and financial advisory. A lot of them freshers, right? So I don't think that's true that they don't look at freshers. Of course, they are looking at freshers, but again, as I said, it's not reaching the right place, the CV. Sometimes a financial advisory team does not go all out and put openings on the portal, but they always are looking for people because they don't want everybody to apply. They want only certain selected people who really are interested in financial advisory to apply for that role, and then they take it forward from there. Right? As I said, use a reference, and if you're really keen on something like financial advisory, nothing like it. All Big Fours are looking for people.
So I think reference is then the route for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, so with ACCA, it is not necessary to complete your practical experience prior your qualification. So sometimes people do not have the practical experience, and they have just started their studies after BCom graduation. So where one is the best time to apply for a job, just after their BCom qualification, or wait till they complete their ACCA? How does that
See,
work?
when you apply for a job, you need to be continuously available for that role. So if there is a need to do some more practical experience later as part of your ACCA role, then it's best to apply only once you clear your exams because uh, they don't want people to kind of go on leave, etc.
Okay. Uh, Now someone's asking, what is the scope of ACCA in the current job market? How valuable is ACCA in the Big Four firms?
So again, if I take the direct firms, there are some roles which are available in the India practice, but there will be a lot more roles which will be available in the global practice. So it really depends on what qualifications you have in addition to ACCA. That will kind of help in applying for the role. Again, it depends on a need basis. It's not like, and Mega, from your experience and your perspective, which are the kind of organizations would take an ACCA? Like, say, for Deloitte, there will be some roles which are available in Deloitte India, which will be for an ACCA qualification. At least in audit, they would largely prefer a CA qualification and not an ACCA. But there are other roles where ACCAs are also looked at, especially in Deloitte, USI, etc.
Yeah, mainly it's the outsourcing divisions that like, or they prefer to have ACCA. Taxation is low because again, taxation, we they do not study Indian taxation. Sometimes audit, yes, because more or less audit is kind of similar. But something like IFRS, accounting division, those are divisions that kind of prefer ACCAs. I think you should reach out to Sandeep. Honestly, he's been very helpful even when I was working in KPMG. So you can connect to him, and he'll definitely guide you if you even require some kind of advice on the roles or profile. I think he's the right person for it. And also, guys, you can ask in your questions, because that question answer session is going on. Okay. Now there's another question which is wanting you to emphasize a little on work-life balance, because it's always been told that Big 4 work-life balance is kind of difficult. So if you could just throw some light on that.
See, again, if you ask me, it can be managed with with having the right skill sets. If you have the skill sets, if you're focused, and if you work efficiently, uh, and hybrid work is the next big thing. Okay, it is being followed everywhere. So you need to be true to yourself. So even when you're not going to office every day, you're say going only twice in a week or whatever, the 3 days when you're working from home, if you're very efficient in what you do, the work will get over faster. A lot of times work-life balance is a challenge because most of the assignment or the time which was allocated to you is not used effectively, and then the work piles up and there's so much to do and there's less time. So when there's more work to do with less time, the only way you can complete the work within the time is by working extra hours. Okay, and that's where work-life balance can get disturbed. Okay, so if you concentration levels are good, if you focus, if you given your best 100% on every single day rather than wait for the closure of the assignment, trust me, if you ask me, I'm a partner with a Big 4, right? Okay, I don't remember even once when I worked beyond 10 p.m. Okay, in the night. Okay, maybe 4 days in a year I would have worked beyond 10 p.m. Okay, and I sleep well, and probably I spend time in on the road in traffic, because as a leader I probably need to go to the office more than say the junior team members, but you will be able to save all of that time which is there, and even weekends, not much. If you ask me from a current role perspective, probably my weekend working would be less than 10%. So if you do things correctly, I don't see a challenge. Now, again, I'm not telling you what is being done today. Even if I take 8, 9 years back when Megha was working, okay, I'll give her example only because it's still relevant. There used to be people who used to work late, her peers, her other batchmates. But we were very clear as a team. We used to be clear in our expectations. She knew what she had to achieve in a day or in a week. She used to leave at 5:30 on most days, right? And some days she used to stretch maybe till 7 or so, because she knew she had to finish something and all. So if you're clear on what you need to achieve and if you plan well, then even if most of her peers were working till 10, 11, and I know, but Megha never worked very late, right? So Megha can speak from her experience as well that work will be there, but you can reduce to a larger extent the late working or the weekend working if you plan your work well for most part of the assignment.
Yeah, I think it's about planning well. That's what we used to do, and learned a lot from you that way. So we used to actually work very effectively back then, and I think there was very less slogging.
So less
Mm.
coffee breaks. We used to take those 5 minute breaks. We never used to take half an hour breaks and all of that. Okay. So we used to kind of keep it crisp. Okay. The day we feel okay, we have to take a break. That used to be like a break day only, right? So there we knew we did not have to achieve and we were ahead of schedule. So we used to kind of go spend some time, socialize, go for lunches. All that also happens. It's not like we were the boring group, but you don't need to go and enjoy every day, because you do that, then you will struggle in the later half of your assignment. So planning is the key, and working effectively is the key, and avoid distractions. So I know in today's day and age, at least for this current generation, social media is a very big distraction. If you're on social media during work, okay, trust me, you may work 10 hours, 11 hours also, your output will not be the best. Okay. So try and see, you keep your social media time outside of your work hours. You work 8 hours in a day, you still have 16 hours. 16 hours may you sleep 8 hours, you have still 7, 8 hours for yourself. Take out 1 or 2 hours from that for your social media and other things. It's fine. You don't need to be active throughout the day. You can be active in the evenings.
Okay, so someone's asking, what do recruiters value more, grades or internship experience?
Both. So grades, if they are good, it helps. The experience will also help. But at the end of the day, just let's take a hypothetical example. You cleared in the first attempt only, okay? And your grades are not like you got 70, 80 or whatever. Assume you got 50 only. I don't know how the grades work in ACCA Mega, but assume say a person got 50 out of 100 overall, okay? But in the interview, if you're still very clear and confident, you probably will get an edge over someone who has 65 or 70 if he is not able to communicate well. Okay. So it has to be ticking all the boxes. Obviously, you've passed, so that's good. But you don't need to pass with the highest marks. Okay, we've rejected rank holders also if they are not able to communicate or speak. We reject them.
So I think it's more about getting more experience along with your studies rather than getting higher marks, lesser experience. So there should be a balance between the two.
It should be a balance. It's not like higher marks will always get selected, is what I'm trying to say. It's an added advantage if you have high marks plus you're confident, you're clear, everything. Obviously, if I'm choosing 5 out of 50, you will be selected before the others. But in case you don't have very high marks, if you want to increase your chances of getting selected, be very clear and confident in your communications.
Okay. So we have a question. As a ACCA student, should we go with CA firms or Big 4 or other big firms? Because most of the times a smaller firm or a mid-sized firm, they do not know about ACCA course, or they're not aware about, what is the expectation of the student and the course.
See, the best thing is always to go for a known firm. Okay. Because as I said, even if that's not your longer term career, even if you work there for 2 years, that name will be in your CV in the future. Okay. And that carries a lot of weightage when you want to say work in another country or switch jobs. So it's better to always get a job in a bigger known firm because that name will carry in your CV and you can use that in the future for bigger roles.
And meanwhile, if you require any kind of guidance with regard to, your interview and Big 4s, you can reach out to Sandeep on LinkedIn. Sandeep Kukreja, you can find him through my connection also. And with regard to studies, I'm always available. If you require any kind of tip, guidance, then yes.
And
Okay,
when
so
you're paying me, mention that you are Mega Bansali student. I think that would help.
yeah, so I think that would give you added advantage there. Okay, so someone is asking, given the limited opportunities after completing ACCA, would it be advisable to pursue MBA?
See, again, it depends on your interest. Now, let's take my situation and let's take Mega's situation. Okay. I have only one qualification. I have only done CA and nothing else. Okay. Mega has two qualifications. Okay. So, depends on what your interest is. Doing an MBA, if you're really keen to have that qualification, helps. But just don't do it just because you want to add to the qualification. If today I'm a Big 4 partner, I have become a Big 4 partner with one qualification only. Be clear on what you want to do and whether that qualification will help you achieve your professional goal. If it is going to help you, please go ahead. Like in Mega's case, she wanted to do ACCA. She has a career which is revolving around ACCA. It's helping her, right? So again, add an additional qualification only if it's going to help you in your professional career, not just that it looks good in the CV.
Yes, I think if you want to look at into a consulting kind of a profile, then probably MBA might be helpful there. So someone's saying, I'm currently working in investment bank and have started with my ACCA. I want to switch my career to Big 4. So would the experience be added up since it's been 2 years working as a banking operational analyst?
Yeah, if you look at a role which is linked to that, so now if you go in for a financial advisory role, maybe you will be interacting a lot with investment bankers and other things. So you'll probably understand that a little bit better. So maybe a financial advisory role would help. Or if you go in for specialization within audit in a Big 4, where you are joining, say, in a city like Mumbai, where there's a separate division for financial services, then the iBanking division experience will probably give you a little bit of an edge in terms of joining that organization in the financial services role. Yeah. So financial advisory will be helpful. Financial services related role in any of the divisions will help the iBanking role.
Okay. And to just answer this question, I think I would answer it better. Yes, it would be counted in your per experience. Your investment banking profile will also be counted, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So we have already covered, but just to quickly answer the question, someone's asking, can we please get some roles recommendation, as most of the freshers are not educated in what role they should pursue? So probably I think something like auditing, accounting could be a right role to start with, because you understand a variety of things. You do a little of tax also. You understand how consultancy will work, because if there is any special transaction present in the company, you kind of, take their help. So I think auditing is a good field to start with. Probably, Sandeep, you could also elaborate on that.
Yeah. Auditing is a good field because with your knowledge, which you have studied as part of ACCA, there's a lot bit of accountancy and auditing which is there as a part of the syllabus, and that can directly be applied in the current job role. So I think auditing would be helpful.
So I think, Roshni, that kind of answers your question also, which says that if we go with a known firm, usually as a fresher, we don't know which, profile or domain we should work in. So yes, your interest really matters. And in case you do not know what you're interested in, then personally, even I feel auditing is a good field to start with. So that is your base. That is the career that you have chosen as a ACCA or a CA, because that is the main work of ACCA or a CA. So you could probably start around that.
Yes. You can always switch roles a little later. Nothing, no one stops you from switching roles later.
So I hope we're done with the questions. Are there any more questions, guys? No, I guess more or less that's what it was. So thanks a lot, everyone who joined in, who has given their time, and I hope you've got good tips, good valuable suggestions on what you could work, how you could apply for an interview. And yes, like we've already mentioned, you can connect with me or Sandeep for any kind of guidance, any kind of assistance. We would always be happy to help you. And thank you so much for making your time and for being here. And thank you
Thanks,
so much,
everyone.
Sandeep.
Thank you, everyone. Best of luck. Do well. Bye.
Yes, bye. Thank you.